Alright, so here we are on our Creality K1 again here, and this is just some PLA, some connectors. And this is settings are actually defined settings. Just thought I'd do something different. So the fine quality settings on the PLA out of the box. You see it still scoots along. The layer thickness on that setting is 0.1 millimeter. So interesting thing, I guess this is the topic for the video. I mentioned in a previous video that I got an error a few times now about some error number and didn't heat as expected, and it stopped, and then I was able to just reboot the system and it restart, and it continued to print. So it was not a huge deal, but definitely less than ideal. And so I emailed the customer service at Creality asking about it, because there was also another gentleman, I don't know, it could have been an asshole for all I know, but I want to say he's a gentleman, on Reddit, who said that he had that error, like he posted it independently of me, that he had that error, and I saw that, and I think I replied to him saying, oh yeah, I have that error too. So obviously there's some issue, but so I emailed customer service, and they replied to me probably within 24 hours, I think, and basically said to check for cracks in the ceramic on the heater, and to check for, it may just need thermal grease at the heater, and they gave like 4 different things, and maybe I'll put it in the comments because I don't have it right here in front of me, so I guess I'll put it in the in the description. And so I'll put their response in the description. But basically, it was funny because I kind of inferred that it was the bed that wasn't heating, but then I realized I guess that was just an incorrect inference, or could have been. I haven't backed it up yet, I haven't verified it yet. But evidently, I just need to take the hot end apart and inspect the heater situation, which kind of sucks. I hate the idea of taking this apart. My Ender 3, I took it apart, put the hot end, I must have taken that thing apart and put it back together 30 times. And I'm very happy about this one, that it just works great out of the box, and almost zero clogs. I had 1 clog, but it was after that error. Basically, upon resuming it, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's heat creep into the filament or whatever, but the filament didn't extrude, and so so basically 1 failed print I had. Yeah, so customer service is basically check for cracks in the heater, check for maybe add some thermal paste. I have some pretty good thermal paste. I'm not an expert on thermal paste, but I'm pretty sure I probably did a little bit of investigation at the time, which is how I do things as far as what particular material and better performance. Although I could have done my alternate plan, which is buy the most expensive one. But I don't generally only do that. I'll generally look at the specifications and the composition of the chemical composition and things like that, and the performance numbers, the thermal conductivity of any given material. I think I saw somewhere that boron nitride, and I do have some industrial experience with boron nitride, primarily as an electrical insulator for high voltage spacecraft things. But it also, I do recall that it also had, if I recall correctly, I think it has high thermal conductivity as far as ceramics go, and so that makes sense to me that if it has boron nitride in the paste, then it's probably a higher quality or on the higher end of performance of thermal paste. Do I have it right here? Do I have it right here? It's nearby. I don't know. Oh, here it is. I use this stuff. Slice Engineering. Oh, I bought this stuff when I bought the Slice Engineering what do they call it? All metal, no, the one-piece heat brake or whatever it was, the heat brake. And actually, that was for my CR10, and I don't mean to diss these people's Slice, my application of it, and maybe I messed it up, but man, that thing, I clogged so many times. I got so many clogs, and looking back, maybe it was again because of the thermal transfer softening the PLA. So maybe if I didn't use PLA, instead I used a higher temperature material, it would have been less problematic. But anyway, I did not have good luck with the Slice Engineering heat brake. It may have been my own mistakes though. But yeah, so this is boron nitride thermal paste, which seems like a good idea to me. So there you go. So this single use, oh, bubbles too. Anyway, I've used it a bunch of times. I don't know what you're talking about single use. I guess I haven't reused any of the paste itself. You know, I've reused this syringe a few times. But anyway, it's not going to go bad. It's boron nitride is ceramic powder. It's not like it's going to spoil. I say that, for all I know, maybe it does, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't. Anyway, so here we go, cranking along again. Very reliable as usual. Not as always. Like I said, I get that occasional heat error. But I'm generally able to reboot and restart it, and I will be investigating. Boy, it really kills me to take this apart. I'm almost tempted to buy a second printer, the same thing, just so I don't have to, so I can always have one running. I mean, this thing is really pretty affordable. It's $600, although I think it's back on back order again. But it's just such a great printer. I mean, it wouldn't hurt my feelings to own two of these, but can I really justify it? I don't know, I'll think about that. I hadn't really thought about it until I started talking here. But as you can see, super. Just got run over by the x-axis there. But you can see it's like super high quality prints. Well, anyway, I guess that's enough for this video. I will post the details of the customer service reply regarding that error, and then later I'll follow up with whatever solution. And who knows, maybe I'll let it make the error a few more times before it annoys me enough to dig into it, because I hate to take brand new things apart. It seems to happen to me here and there. I'll make a nice big purchase, and then figuring, okay, I'm sick of things being broken, and so I'm going to upgrade. So for example, I also, not only do I just buy new printers when I get annoyed by metal printers, but I have a electric mountain bike kit that I built some years back from a high-end, it was a 2009 Giant Trance X3, really nice mountain bike, full suspension, Fox suspension, nice old bike. And I probably 4 or 5 years ago now, time flies, probably 4 years ago maybe, I bought a Bafang BBS HD kit for it, 52 volt electric bike bolt-on kit for it, and I had a blast with that. I put a couple thousand miles on it over a few years, but there were a few reasons why I decided I wanted to upgrade to another bike. That bike had some issues that needed to be repaired, but not only that, one of the issues is the motor wasn't working, and the shock bolt had broken, because that older bike, they have a smaller shock bolt than they do now, and that bolt broke, and I weigh like 2 1/4 up to 235 in the off season. So I tend to lose weight in hockey season. I play a lot of hockey, but I'm like 225 or so nowadays. And anyway, it's probably like 235, and I broke that shock bolt, and it's crashed. The Fox shock got destroyed, which is unfortunate, and now it's hard to find that older style shock. And I did buy a spare bike, and now I have a RockShox shock on it from that bike, and I have the spare frame. Long story short, I also do a lot of sand riding and decided maybe I should get an electric fat bike, and so I started researching, and I found out it's a nice electric fat bike that I really liked. And after having a brief amount of great time on an awesome bike, the rear hub broke, and so after waiting 4 weeks for the bike, and then it arrived and the battery and the charger were both bad, and then I had to wait for warranty replacement on the battery and charger, finally get to ride it, and my first real off-road ride with it, the hub broke, and I had to push it home 3 miles up and through Sandy Hills, 3 miles home in the middle of the night, actually early morning, coming back from camp across town. So anyway, less than ideal, and then they give me the runaround, but supposedly today they're going to give me pricing for new parts on that. But anyway, seems like, you know, you think you're going to buy something, the new latest and greatest, to avoid the hassles of your old run down stuff, and then the latest and greatest stuff is also immediately doesn't work perfectly, and then you have to take it apart again anyway. So it gets a little frustrating, but I guess, you know, first world problems. I am loaded with first world problems. Anyway, this video is way longer than I intended it to be, and I'm out.